The Working Artist Project is brought to you by Second Line Arts Collective. Learn how you can support at secondlinearts.org.
We're creating a platform for those who are curious, one that tells the story from the artist's perspective. Moments in time, captured from the innovators who are reshaping dance, music, theater, and the visual arts. This is the Working Artist Project.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is February 28th, 2022. And to all of us here in New Orleans, today is Lundi Gras. So,
Hey,
Darrian, how you feeling?
man, I feel good. How you feel, man? You've been out partying, eating fucking crab, crawfish, and
Check it out, check it out. I got a piece of king cake right here, and I'm gonna take a bite.
oh, there you go. Happy Mardi Gras, man. I
I've been
wish
on
I
a
was
king
down there
cake
with you.
diet. I've been on a king cake diet for the last 2 weeks.
You've been on a king cake diet since I left.
I've eaten nothing but king cake for 3 weeks, and just for the record, I've gained like 14 pounds.
Hey, just wash it down. Wash it down with Abita Amber, man. Abita needs to sponsor us, man. We need to write them an email.
Or we could get a second line brewery to do it too.
Hey, that's even better, man. Yeah,
Um,
today, I guess we got to do our public service announcements before we get started. As we draw closer to Sanaa Music Workshop,
of course.
everybody needs to know, go to the website, check it out, sign up. And we also got some virtual stuff coming up, but the Sanaa Music Workshop is going to be in person and live for the first time in 2 years. We're going to be in New Orleans on what dates?
I believe we have the June 6th through the 17th, and the camp will be at 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we're looking for young people who are interested in pursuing a career in the arts, ages 14 through 21. And we have a very special guest artist, Mr. Marquise Hill, will be joining us from Chicago. And I am so excited about that. So please go to our website, and the registration is all up there.
It's gonna be a vibe. And everybody listening, this is Greg's baby, so he's he's curating this whole experience for us this year. Go ahead, Greg.
I'm actually really excited. We've been working really hard with Triangle and this guy named Jack Carey, and we've been spending a lot of time streamlining our mission at Second Line Arts, streamlining how to do programming and doing a curriculum and all kinds of things. And so this year is going to be on a whole nother level.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. So enough of the business. Today we have a very special guest, one of my favorite people in the world. I know I say this, but I really think this man is a genius. He's a multimedia artist that does everything from, can you believe this, Greg? Check this out. From book illustrations, video game design, to concept art for commercials, all kinds of stuff. And it's really hard to do as an artist, to get inside of corporate America and still be creative, because you know how that goes. So we're going to kind of get into it with him in just a few seconds here. But without further ado, I do want to welcome Darren McMillan to the Working Arts Project. What's up, Darren?
One love, brothers. How y'all doing today?
Wonderful.
Hey, man, I'm good, man.
I never got an intro like that before. So, but I will say, truer words were never spoken.
Humility, yes.
Oh
man.
Yeah, good to be here. Good to be here.
Man, thank you for coming, man. One thing, and I did want to get into you right off the bat, is kind of what I was talking about in the intro, and I was thinking about it, like you being in corporate America, but still finding a way to be a true creative. Like, how does that work? Because as artists, we're always afraid that corporate America is going to suck the life out of us and stop us from being who we really are.
Yeah, it can, if you let it. I think for me, it's just to be in the field, just to be, my daughters both have asked me before, like, how did you know what you wanted to do when you grow up, and I said, well, I've always been an illustrator. I've been drawing as long as I can remember. So it was laid out pretty much for me, even though I was told by people who do not look like me, that is not the safe and the career you want to strive for. You need to head to the post office, and thank goodness I had mentors back then, like a community, not a neighborhood, where they said, no, we see something in you, go for that, and actually to have friends, and a very close friend, brother. It's weird because those titles don't even sum it up. As far as another fellow artist and my business partner, Dwayne Turner, we are like you guys, known each other forever. I know them since kindergarten, and being in the struggle like that with, he's another artist and he didn't let the world tell him that's not what he can be. And we rolled that, we did it together. He went his way, I went my way, but we stayed brothers, and I end up in advertising. And the thing with advertising, where I'm at now as a creative director and one of the largest agencies in the world, Saatchi & Saatchi, you can have your creative energy stepped on and say, no, don't do this, don't do that, because we selling to the public, and not everything we selling is right. It's about that dollar. It's about that dollar. So, and you have a skill that you know how to sell that. It's being a big hip hop fan and growing up in hip hop. Like, one of the things I use as an example is when NWA came out. When they came out, it was a somewhat different sound as far as with hip hop, but it wasn't a new sound because of George Clinton and everything that they sampled. But it was different in what they were speaking on. So what are we gonna call this? Now, they never, you be hard pressed to find anybody to call them that's gangster rappers to say, I'm a gangster rapper. Advertisement came up with the term gangster rapper, and we're gonna call you that, and we're gonna use this to market this music and stomp everything else out. And that's what happened. And they was getting paid, so they rolled with it, even though they liked it. Oh, gangster, I like that. I can, as you get older and you get wiser, hopefully, you learn that might not have been the best move to accept that title. You didn't put it on yourself. See, there's a thing that I live by is I don't know everything, but I know enough to live what I know. And I know the advertising game, and I know that my hands are tied, especially now in the climate that we live in. So I do my artwork someplace else. I do my own thing with my brother, Dwayne Turner, which is what we have, Barnstorming Productions. And we get to, nobody can tell us anything, which is why I'm a big Prince fan, because he rolled like that. He had to learn. You have to go through the pain first. You have to go through, you can't do this, you can't do that. And not only can you not do it, I'm only paying you this amount of money to do it. Live with it. Well, I don't think that's fair. I created all of this stuff. I don't think that's fair. It doesn't matter what you think. That's how it is. Everybody else accepted it. Well, then let me think. Yeah, I better sign this contract and do this. And then I find out that Ray Charles didn't accept it. I find out Frank Sinatra didn't accept it. Oh, wait, hold up. I'm not gonna accept it. Kanye's on that vibe right now. I'm not gonna accept it. So, and I like to think I'm pretty good at what I do, which is why I have the longevity that I have, which is why I'm in the demand that I'm in, and I get to see different lens from a lens that is multicultural. With the death of, not even death, the murder of George Floyd changed the advertising world. Well, how did that happen? Well, the whole world was paused, and they got to see something that was going on forever. But we all was paused at the same time, globally. And we watched this on television. Then we watched the outrage. Then we watched the outrage globally. So now there's certain things we will not do in the commercial now. There's certain things. Now I see you because I heard you. And that's how change happens. And that's how, and I apply now all of a sudden, now I'm the flavor of not the month, I'm the flavor of the decade now. We need you. We need you now. We need.
What do you mean? Like, you mean like they need to hear your voice? Like they're coming directly to you?
Yeah,
now and saying like,
exactly.
It's okay.
They come directly. I have a friend who, she's a global creative director at an ad agency, not the one that I work for. And she reached out to me and said, I have these ads that was designed, but I want to run them by you because there's people of color in them. I want to make sure I'm not triggering anything because I'm an ally. So let me say, and that was cool. And she sent it to me and I gave my feedback, but I said, there's a solution instead of you sending it to me. What's that? Just hire somebody that looks like me. Just divert, because I know for a fact you don't have no Black people that working at that agency. And we are in 2020. And now it's 2022, because that was 2020 when that happened. And right now, as far as creative director, I'm the only Black one. And we're talking global at the company that I'm at. But that's changing because of the climate on what's happening. Women, Me Too, these movements, whether you agree with them or not, is part of the change. And artists play a big part in these movements. No matter what movement you have, you cannot think, even if you're my age, from my generation or your generation, when you hear Marvin Gaye, What's Going On song, you hear Public Enemy, Fight the Power, you hear, that's the artist. You see illustrations, you hear the poetry, that's our responsibility as part of the movement also, to make sure that this landscape, every workplace should look like who we are advertising to. Mm. If you can't sell to me if you don't know me. So I know I got a bit preachy there, but
as you're saying this, I have a question for you too. It's in advertising, as an artist who works in advertising, are you responding to the current things that are happening in the world and creating advertising that reflects that? Or
yes.
Do you see yourself as more like directing the public consciousness, like, hey, maybe now y'all need to look at this? Like, how do you see that?
We actually both. Actually, doing both, but actually bringing up things that are with clients. Because see, it's not so much, a lot of times it's the agency itself, it's the client. My job is to make you see and to set up things that you need when you don't even know you need it. My job is to sell your product, and you don't have to, anytime a commercial comes on TV and you see a family, the norm is not for the Black man not to be in the household. Why is it every commercial that we see with a Black family, it's the mother and the kids, but if we see a family, a complete family, they're white? Contrary to what you've been taught, that is not the norm. The CDC came out recently, and why they came out with it, I'm not sure. And folks can look it up and Google it, on the myth of the Black father not being part of the child's life is just that, a myth. That No, we're there, even though a lot of us can speak and say, well, no, mine wasn't there. But overall, countrywide, they come to find out that no, a lot of them are there. So in advertising, I try to make things not look stale, make things say something, and let people see you be it LGBTQ community, Asian, Black, but represented correct. It's not a stereotype. They're all different shades. You can have a sister that's very dark and you can still sell. Well, I don't know about that. Well, look at L'Oreal's campaign with Viola Davis, one of their most successful ones to date. Okay, that now you know that you can do that. But it takes for people, and this is very egotistical, people like me to be in the game, to be there. Just like when you have a police officer, I'm sorry, we need more police officers of color that speak up. And then things, but you can't change it if you ain't in it. You can't be it if you can't see it. So I'm in a position where not only can I hire qualified people that look like me, hence keyword qualified and look like me. I could, when there's images or verbiage that's written and I'm going, wait, I'm there to say, that's not cool. I wouldn't say that. And it's changed and things are looking different because the landscape needs to change and it's changing.
Man, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm just wondering, like, as an advertiser, and I do want to get to some of the other stuff that you do too, because you're a multifaceted mogul around here. So like, do you ever hit a moral dilemma where you like, man, I have to advertise some shit I just am just completely morally against, or like, medicine or anything?
I would say it's weird because wisdom comes with age. When I was younger in this business, it was about that check. It was about chasing that dollar. My definition of wealth was different now that the age that I'm at now, in my mid-50s. My definition of wealth is not the same. I learned how to say no for my peace. Now, before, I would see things where it wasn't, let's take an example, even though I did not come up with this, but the California Raisins commercial. And they made them the Temptations and they sing and heard it through the great. Really? Some little black raisins singing Temptation songs? Nobody thought that was.
I was mad. Hey, I used to like that commercial as a kid. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and it's fun. But see, now that commercial will never get made today.
Right.
And something in the comedian Paul Mooney spoke on this. You had, when they did the commercial with Kentucky Fried Chicken and Hammer is dancing for the chicken, who thought that was okay? Who actually, and how did he think it was okay? He thought, hey, I want that check, and who wrote that? Now today, that wouldn't get past my desk. 20 years ago, well, you know what? This is not right, but I got to get this mortgage and I got this, these bills or whatever. Wisdom, age comes with that, and learning how to say no when you get to it. So right now, it's like, I don't say I don't give a F. I'm at a peace because I know what true wealth is for me. And I know morally what I'm have to do to, I'm very conscious of what I'm putting out, because see, I have a crown that's been paid for that I wear. And that crown that's been paid has been people who, like Sammy Davis, Michael Jackson, Prince, going back to my grandmother, my grandfather, their ancestors, and before that, they paid a price for me to wear it. So I'm gonna wear it well, and I'm gonna be responsible with it. You know, that's the best way I could sum that up.
That's beautiful. I love, one of my favorite quotes is too, is like, we stand on the shoulders of giants of greatness in any field.
Yes,
Always honor, who brought
absolutely. When I step in a room, when I'm giving a presentation for work, when I'm speaking at work, then I'm not on that stage by myself. I stand with thousands and thousands that paved the way for me. And I make sure I do the same, because the door, I still got it open, because the thing with not just advertising, with art in general, with there's a lot of people that we used to do this thing before the pandemic, and it's called Career Day, where we go up to schools and we speak to the students, and we go to schools in inner cities, and we do that because I believe you can't be it unless you can see it. And there's a lot of people who are illustrators. There's a lot of people who are artists who think that, hey, maybe the best way to go is drawing comic books. No, there are other options for you being an illustrator that you can do. And a career in advertising, a career in show business, and on the movie end, on the production end, on the back end, designing sets, a career in video game design, concepts. There's a whole, there are young artists who have no idea that those careers exist. I'm there to tell them.
Can I ask you, through your career, is there a particular piece of work that you've done that you maybe feel most proud of?
It was, I'm gonna say it was something that I wrote. It wasn't even a piece of illustration or art. It was something that I wrote, which was called 10 Rules to Get Home Safe. And all I did basically was take the old Chris Rock HBO, when he had his show, he had his HBO show, and he did a video called 10 Rules Not to Get Your Blank Whipped by the Cops. And he made a comedy of it. And I said, well, I'm gonna take that and make it serious. And I'm gonna add young folks in it. And I'm gonna add parents in it, And that was done for this thing called the SALT Project in Chicago. That's what I'm most proud of as far as writing. What I'm most proud of as far as work is really everything that I've done with my brother, Dwayne Turner. Everything on that barnstorming page. And it's like, well, Darren, why? Why that? Because that was 100% us. No corporate, no job, no studio saying you can't do this, you can't do that. Everything on that page is 100% us. And we had a good time doing it. And I'm very proud of that work. And I'm proud of my mentorships also, with young brothers say, hey man, if it wasn't for you, blank. If it wasn't for you, blank. And I always tell, hey, I appreciate that. But guess what? If it wasn't for, I can say a whole lot of names also. So it's just paying it forward. Make sure you do the same. Don't get there and start going, okay, I'm here now. F everybody else. No, you can't do that. And I find that a lot of folks my age and my generation, we sort of stop that mentorship. We sort of stop that, and we do things like a young blood will come up and say, hey, man, that's what you do for, how did you get there? Hard work and God, son, and then leave. No, that's not a map. That's not a blueprint. Tell them how you got there. Let them know. Show them the road, the landmines that you had to step on so they can avoid that. That's how I get down. And it feels great when I see someone make it out of a situation that they are told that are stuck in for generations and generations, and told that, well, this is the best that it's going to get. No. That's why I love the show The Wire so much. So.
And so let me show some people some of your artwork right now. This is a piece that you did of the, I'm not a big Prince fan. My mom loves Prince, you love Prince, but his music doesn't really resonate with me, but this is a beautiful piece. Can you tell us about this piece and what the inspiration was for this and why you did it?
The inspiration for that was, one, I'm a big fan, especially on the business side, of Prince mentorships and things that he put out there, and I love his music. But and I grew up. It's part of my generation. I grew up on this. It's one of the few people that I've been to multiple concerts of.
Yeah.
And the American Heart Association, we will donate artwork for auctions, and they asked me to do one. And this is through the ad agency, and I chose Prince, and that one sold more than, and got the most, made more money than anything in the auction. And I was shocked. And why that's also one of my favorite pieces is it reminds me of no man is promised tomorrow. And now what do I mean by that with that art piece? When I drew that picture and I showed it to one of my best friends, Randy, who is if I'm a Prince fan, if fan is here, he's up here somewhere when it comes to the Prince. And he saw it and he said, oh man, D, you gotta let me have it. You gotta let me have that. I said, I'm gonna bring it to you, man. In fact, I'm gonna get it printed after the auction, get you a print, I'll bring it to you. A week go by, he asked me for it. Oh yeah, I ain't forget, man. It's just been been busy. Another week go by, he dies from a heart attack. He never got the piece. And that showed me we're not promised tomorrow. What you do now, make it count. And that don't mean being serious about everything. I mean, be that, as like Maya Angelou said, be that rainbow in somebody's cloud. Because there's a lot of clouds today. I haven't seen the sun in a long time when you come in these YouTube streets, TV and everything. So you gotta be that rainbow in someone's cloud. Right? You have to. That's part of being an artist. That's what we are. That's what we are as artists. As artists. Absolutely. And it's like when I mentioned my brother Dwayne, he's an example of no one makes it alone. No one makes it alone. And the two of you, and how long have you known each other and your friend, that's exactly it, and when I look at the power to say no, and no one makes it alone, two things come to mind. If these people did not have the power to say no, we would not have Stevie Wonder's songs To the Key of Life. If Stevie Wonder didn't have the power to say no, we're gonna do this album. Oh, well, I don't think we should do this album. Then I'm out. I'm standing my ground. I'm out. When Smokey Robinson and Berry Gordy told that story, I said, wow, you mean to tell me if he stayed with Motown, we would not have songs To the Key of Life, which is in my top 10? Another one that's in my top 10? The What's Going On album by Marvin Gaye. Berry Gordy said, I don't think we should do this. It's too radical, too political. You talk about Vietnam. Well, I'm going to do it regardless, even if I got to go someplace else. No, I'm doing it. Smokey Robinson, hey, I think you should let him do it. And he did it. Can you imagine not having that album? I can't. One
of the most iconic pieces of art ever, period.
But that's the power of standing on your own, standing on your square, as they say it today, and like, hey, I'm going to do this. That's the power of us artists. That's what you guys have. That's what we all have.
I love it. Is there a particular moment in your life where you had to say no to something that turned into maybe something great that has served you?
Yeah, it was when I decided to stop and to quit being a social worker when I left the city. Because see, that was my safety net, because I needed a steady job with benefits, and you get a pension, you get, those words sound great, but not to an artist really. Because if you got something inside you that got to get out, that got to share with the world, you are never going to find peace. It's not going to be with a woman. It's not going to be a good TV show or a good movie. So I had to say no to that job. Like, I'm not staying here. I quit. Now I ain't going to front. I was like, whoa, what did I just do? But I did have a supporting family, and I had a supporting wife, ride or die.
Yeah. It's crazy when your wife, like my wife, who is your niece, believes in me more than I believe in me, and that scares the shit out of me sometimes. Like, you think I can do it? Okay, now it makes you it pushes you in a different way.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's part of the whole. No one makes it alone. No one make it. I know for me, as an artist, I would have been fine. Apartment, cereal. That's it. One couch, a chair. I don't need much. But when you have a wife and family or whatever, they do have that energy or that thing to the push, and also other friends, mentors who are in the same field. There's no way you can tell me not having each other in your lives, and you both are artists, that's not super valuable. What you guys talk about as far as with music or whatever, because I see the shows, but the fact that you guys are friends and artists, the struggle, you need that. No one makes it alone.
I couldn't agree with you more about that fact too. And I always think it's crazy too. I feel like in today's world, it's very common for people, again, what you were saying earlier, people attribute their success to their hard work and to themselves a lot. And man, I think as you're saying all this, I just thank, like my mom, like how many things she did for me. And then all the great teachers I had, all the great friends, Darrian, and all these cats who inspire me every day. And man, no one's success happens alone.
No.
It's an important thing for all of us to acknowledge and really preach to the next generation too.
Absolutely. That community aspect that we tend to have lost or is disappearing, where I don't see it, needs to come back. I am not making it alone. It's things like my mother never saying, no, you can't do that. She said, oh, that's what you want to do, go ahead. She didn't know what I did, really, no, my family really didn't know the depths of what I actually, they just know, oh, he's an artist, he's yours, that's it. But no one ever said no. Nobody never looked side-eyed at me for doing that. When I'm growing up, the way I grew up, as far as where I grew up in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, and at the time where it was very, very rough, even though it didn't seem rough to me, but it was rough. There was a lot of elders. And what I was talking, we was talking the other day as far as where I went to get my therapy, because people don't, that sort of look down upon my generation. Well, the therapy for me was the barbershop. And I went for therapy every week because the mentors was in there and every generation was in it. And the brothers that are on the streets that are hardcore, you might, man, these guys, how many years he been in prison and how many people he did, it was rough, but those brothers gave me the best of themselves and they saw something in me to say, you got something and you're not gonna mess it up.
Darren, see, now you're talking about the barbershop. It jogged my memory that you were there at the beginning of hip hop and you knew everybody. You knew Biggie. You rubbed elbows with a lot of the biggest names in hip hop, and you was also you was in the club scene back then, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember you had a nickname. What was it?
That's messed up, man. It was disco.
There you go, disco. I thought that was it. I didn't want to say it without you giving me permission.
It was.
Can you?
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I want to hear some of those stories and kind of, because I think music and art is like this, like music and visual art. I mean, especially in New York with hip hop, with the tagging
and the graffiti and it.
Yeah,
it really was. You really didn't know what you was growing up in and what you were witnessing and being a part of, and like there's an excellent documentary on Amazon called Video Music Box, and how we grew up with that. And the reason I bring up Video Music Box because a friend of ours, Hilton, that we went to high school with, he was a barber and he cut Biggie's hair, and we see him all the time, young kid coming, and I'm in the barber shop, and he came in one day and go, yo, I just got put on, son. I got a record and we gonna do it. I was like, man, nobody signing your head. And then a week later, I'm at my mother's and Video Music Box comes on and Juicy, the video comes, and I said, oh, snap, that's Chris. And then I see Miss Wallace, and he was dead serious. And so now he never left the neighborhood though, and so when I saw him the next time at the barbershop, I said, yo, that was cool. He said, man, get out of here, disco. No, it was all in love though, but it was, well, I just did not see that. And just to be that small part of it, to know, to go to the Fever and see LL, please let me get on the mic. And he ain't old enough supposed to even be in there. Well, neither was I too, but back then it was different. It was just different in the witness, what we witnessed in hip hop going where it went. And because it was the news, the documentary of what we were going through and how we were, and it was good times, man. It wasn't like there was bad things happening, but it was different, man. It was different, man. There was a lot of love there, a lot of camaraderie. The only thing I think I ever had to do is being in the clubs. Nobody never knew I lived in Brooklyn. It was something about Brooklyn, letting people know you lived in Brooklyn. That was a problem, because Brooklyn had this thing, and I know folks are listening to this. It is what it is. You from Brooklyn and you go to the Fever or you go to the Bronx or anything up in Harlem World, and they know you from Brooklyn. No, you ain't getting in because it's grand opening, grand closing when you get in. So nope, you're not in. So I used to say, oh no, yeah, I live in the Bronx, man. And a late, he passed last year, Kango from UTFO, from the group UTFO, very, very good friend. The thing with No One Makes It Alone, he played a big part in my work in the behind the scenes in the entertainment industry on the rap and hip hop scene. Everyone that I know in hip hop is because of him, really, and we lost him to colon cancer last year, but just being part of that scene, just watching the song Roxanne, Roxanne, we didn't know that it was going to do that. And then have the most answered back song in history of music to this day. Folks just wanted to have fun. And we were doing it. And the way Kane brought me in, I was doing the CD covers. I was designing all the CD covers. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was like, hey, you know what? And I'm at the after party. I'm at the, yo, disco, yo, what's up? Yeah. It was all love. And then Suge Knight happened. And then I'm gonna just leave it like
that. I think the Suge Knight and the gangster rap and also that was my era of hip hop. You know, I was a big Tupac. You know, I didn't really claim that I like Biggie, but I listened to it. I was Tupac, so I was West Coast. You know, back then you had to pick a side. You know, but yeah, what you got, Greg?
I grew up in Hawaii, man, so I didn't even know there were songs. It's funny because, like, yeah, in Hawaii it's like its own different thing, you know.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right.
I want to hear more about this YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah, well, on our channel, which is Barnstorming Productions, it's Dwayne and I channel. We have work on it. There's a short film on there that I really would love for the listeners to go and watch. I'm not asking you to hit the like button, just watch it, you know, because there's something that I put in your chat a few shows ago where we were talking about art, and I said I never did art for somebody to like it. I could care less. But I do want to know how it made you feel. I do art to bring feeling, to elicit a thought process, to look at something and go, whoa, what was he thinking? And then you trying to figure out what I'm thinking got you thinking. And it may not be what I was thinking, but it got you thinking, and it got you speaking, and it got that emotion going. Like listening to a good song, like listening to it's something about Coltrane that when I listen to it, even though I don't hear any words, I hear tons of words, but there's no dialogue to it. But I'm hearing it because of the music, and it's making me think. You know, so the channel is Dwayne and I unfiltered doing what we want to do. And the thing is, we have a whole lot lined up that we haven't put on the channel, but we will introduce. And the way we're going to introduce that is on our page, but it's not YouTube. It'll be on a website that we own, that we take it, so it to really not have any body holding you back, because Google do their thing also, you know. And there's a lot of things that I'm learning still with this game, because see, I like all of us, we are works in progress. We are always constantly learning and learning and learning. I am wiser than I used to be. I know more than I used to know, but I'm still en route. I am always going to be en route. But the key is to make sure that I act based on what I've learned and keep it real. And what we're doing but going back to our channel again, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre short film that's on there, directed and written by Dwayne Turner. That was a true labor of love and us flexing a little bit and showing what we can do without a studio. It's weird because when people see it, the comments that I get are interesting. It's, wow, you guys did that? It looks like a studio did it. It looks so professional. It looks so, and I listen, I don't take it. Sometimes I do, like, well, what was you expecting? It's almost, I take it the way that when I go and see people that I haven't seen in a long time, like in high school or something, our reunion, or someone at a coworker, and they meet my wife and go, "Oh wow, your wife is beautiful. Why are you surprised at that? Who you thought I was supposed to be with?" You know, it's like some busted up. I'm thinking that, but I don't say that. You know, and so when I put out work like that, then Dwayne's work. Dwayne is on. His work is on the biggest movie in the world right now, which is the latest Spider-Man movie that's out. He storyboarded that movie. You know, so that's how. So when people ask, yeah, that's how we walk it. Yeah, we the cream of the crop there. We're the top. Yeah, we're professionals. We earn my way there. You know, we earn that. So that's pretty much the site is stuff that we get to do and have fun with. The bugging series, there's a series called We Only Bugging. I do all the voices and I do all animation and everything. And it's just us having fun because artists, be an artist, create. Be an artist, create. Don't do that. Oh, well, I better not do this because this might not happen. No, if it's art, create it. Let somebody say, yo, that sucks, or yo, that was the best thing that I ever seen, or that made me laugh. That made me. One of the things that I handle at work in the ad agency is social media accounts for like their content and putting posts out. Because when I try to make them fun, and they say, "Wow, you know, Darren, this is pretty cool," and I laughed and it was cute or whatever. It wasn't what I was expecting. I said, "Yeah, but how it make you feel? Made me feel good, and it's gonna make the people who viewing it feel good." That's why TikTok is so huge. Get your camera, get your pen, get your keyboard, get whatever that, and create. An artist that's not creating is not living.
But you know, I think that's the hard part sometimes too, is to find a way. And you know, I think Greg and I definitely have talked about this, finding a way to create from an authentic place, but also be a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I mean, not even billions, but to really thrive and not be out here, just, you know, struggling to survive, which a lot of people do, which is a tricky balance. And that's why I think you're interesting, because you found a way to thrive, you know, in corporate America, but also to exercise your true creativity and make it all work. Like a lot of times I think artists think you got to choose one or the other. You selling out or you a true artist. You know what I mean? At least from the music standpoint, maybe it's different in the visual arts world, but right, Greg, would you say that that's true?
I would agree. That's the jazz myth.
So, you know, it's rough, man.
Yeah,
I think that's why, you know, people like you is important to see.
Because we live in a world, in a country rather, where resistance and obstacles are always there, but not on how you see it. Well, what's the obstacle? I got to get a job that pays. You are more concerned about, which you should be, about getting that bill paid than actually on what you're going to create first to get it paid. And the one thing we are taught this to work for someone. Nothing wrong with working for somebody. Nothing wrong with I work for an ad agency and I do very well. I'm not asking nobody for anything. I'm good. My bills, I'm straight. But I know that can't be enough. I got to have my own. I got to reach out with my own clients, my own creativity, be it working with, and that's what Dwayne and I do with each other. And we should have actually had him on, because I'll keep bringing his name up, but that's my business partner, right. You know. But we found a way to still create, even if it's pro bono. Because see, as long as this is why it works for me. Because the quote unquote 9 to 5, even though it's still art, it's taking care of the things I don't have to stress about. So I can go over here now in my art corner and work on something to give to the world, to make the world a better place. I know that sounds so cliche, but it is true. Even if one person is smiling, if one person is reading something or looking at an animation you did and laugh, you just help them for a few seconds. Yeah. And if 1 million people saw it and laughed, you just helped the 1 million people for a few seconds. That's all I wanted. And it's a gift that I've been given. Everybody can't do it. So if I don't do it, shame on me. And every other artist who's not doing it. But this society we live in makes it to where you can't be, it makes it very hard, not that you can't, very hard and very difficult that you cannot be an artist and survive or make it. Why is the word starving always associated with artists?
Exactly. Yeah, that's my point. So somebody in the advertise, it's your fault, Darren. Someone in the comments who you know said, how do you make space for your artistic, endeavors?
I forced it. Really, it's like it was almost like if I didn't make the space, I would go crazy. It's a way of going, being a singer and not sing, being a singer and not being able to sing the songs you want to sing. I had to find a way, and the way I did that was being in hip hop, working behind the scenes, doing things that there's no pension in hip hop. And even on the music, on the art side, I had to do a ton of freelance. And I did that. The one thing I never stopped doing, even when I was a social worker, never stopped being an artist. I just wasn't an artist full time. And it wasn't enough. And the social work was training me, was like, wow, man, this is it. I wanted to do that. I didn't feel like I was living, but nobody, it's funny, I was able to hide it. Nobody really knew, except for someone like Dwayne, because he's another artist. And I knew in order for me to be sane, I had to force my own space. Even if it's designing a flyer for a church and not getting paid. Because see, once you do that, once you do your own thing and you get a taste of it, man, this tastes good. I can't put this down. You're gonna keep doing it. You're gonna keep doing it. It's gonna stay in your head. It's gonna stay in your head. And do not let no one tell you you can't. If you're around people, oh, that's not a good idea. No, you shouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that. Change your circle. Change your circle. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to be with other artists or with other people that will help lift me and help inspire me. If you're not doing that, what am I doing hanging out with you? That's on you. If you don't make your own space, after a while, that's on you. As hard as that sounds, as hard as that is able to accept that, oh, but I got a family to take care of. I got this to do. I'm here to tell you I did it. And guess what? I'm not the cream of the, even though I just said earlier I was the GOAT. But if I can, in other words, if I can do it, you can do it. Trust me, if I can do it, you can do it, And you get to a certain age, again, like I said earlier, you will figure out and you will learn what true wealth is. Wealth is your health. Wealth is being able to get up in the morning and take on the world and not get up in the morning, look at everything around, and then go right back into bed. If you do that, reach out to somebody, because if you do that, you're alone. You can be alone in a house full of people, and you can still be alone. And sometimes we put that on ourselves, because it took me a while to learn. I have a loving family, but I never open up to them. Never. And then when my mother passed, we all was like, it wasn't like soul food. We all came together. You know, it was rough because we all handled it in our own different ways. But I can honestly tell you, we have I come from a family. You know, and they think I'm crazy, and I think they're crazy sometimes. But still, that love is there. You know, that love is there. So again, you know, I know you one of your in the comments that they say it's feeling the same way with that question on how do you make your own space. You have to, it's your survival to make your own space. It's your survival. If you don't do it and you're an artist, you are that person on the plane. Look at it, you're that person on the plane. They tell you, before you're gonna help anybody else, put your oxygen mask on first. Because if you don't take care of you first, you ain't creating art for nobody, or your art is just not gonna be. So take care of you first. And how do you take care of you? Find your own space, find your own corner, pause. Learn how to pause. Learn how to, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. The kids need this, the kids need that, but stop. Stop. Get a pencil, find your corner, even if it's in a bathroom. Start writing something. Even if you wrote three sentences, if you're a writer, guess what? Before you wrote those 3 sentences, it was a blank page and you were doing nothing. Guess what? It can be tomorrow. And then the next day. And if it takes you a week, if it takes you a month, if it takes you a year, it's progress. But find your corner, pause. Pausing will save your life. Go for a walk. You go for that walk, stop and look at a flower. Stop and look at the sky. Stop and look at kids, look at people. Just stop and look at them. Realize that you're part of something. Realize that you exist and not just living. I mean, you're living, not just existing. Realize that. And realize that you are good enough and you have something to offer as an artist. Because we need it. Look at this world right now. We need art. I ain't gonna start hating on the Megans and the Cardis or whatever, but that's art too, you know, because I don't mind looking at it. I don't know what they're saying, but hey, you know, but I had to go and go throw that in there. Right?
That's fine.
Those are some wise words. You know, sometimes you just gotta, you know, really realize the greatness of the world that we exist in, and yeah, if you want to practice, you got to make the time, because if you're trying to find it, it's never gonna come.
Yeah, I know for me, and I know again, Dwayne can definitely relate to this. It's not the healthiest thing physically, but mentally it is, and it was for me. Where, you know, my kids are young, you know, wife, I'm working, I'm commuting, and I finally get home, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go to bed. And I said, but if I stay up an extra hour, I can create and do me. If I stay up an extra 2, and that is how I learned. Or see, Photoshop didn't exist when I graduated college. Every software that I know, the entire Adobe suite. I'm a video editor, a motion graphic artist, an Illustrator, Photoshop Inside Out, Adobe Illustrator, Cinema 4D, 3D program. All of that self-taught, because I paused and made the time, because I knew, no, y'all not gonna leave me, because I'm not gonna be that old dude that said, well, back in my day, if only I would have. Those words you're not going to hear from me. Oh, okay. So in order for me to be an illustrator and stay in the game, I need to know Photoshop and I need to know how to draw digitally also. Guess what? I'm doing it. And I did it. And it is a good, and this is maybe my ego speaking now, it is a very good feeling when the young art directors come to me and I create something and I show them some stuff. And so, oh, I didn't know you can do that in Photoshop. I didn't know you can do that in, so, oh, wait, you know After Effects too? Wait, you editing the video too? Wait, all we supposed to do is come up with the ideas. You're doing the production also? Yeah, son.
You know,
Now,
Darren, I was gonna say what you're talking about right now is probably the most valuable thing for every human on earth, and that's the ability to continue to learn.
Yes.
Because as long as you learn and you live it, you know, a lot of times people just for whatever reason stop learning. But like if you can continue to learn, your brain is just gonna keep, you know, I think that's the secret to life. Because when you stop, you die. Like if you stop learning, the shit's gonna atrophy, dog. Like
absolutely.
Like, you know, most people just finish high school and then they finish learning, you know.
Yeah, you have to keep it. You have to keep absorbing. For me, I love it, you know, and I learn quickly, you know, when it comes to stuff like programs, things of that nature. And I stay up to date to where, okay, I learned Photoshop 2. Guess what? I know Photoshop 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 in 2022. How do I do that? Adobe has a site where they have free videos on what's new in their program. They have sites like Skillshare, sites on YouTube. They have a YouTube channel. They have a lot of free stuff that you can do and go and learn. A lot of things, like when I would do the career day and go up to the schools, some of the students know about the video game sites, but don't know about sites like lynda.com, Skillshare, sites where you can learn stuff, free YouTube channels. If you're on YouTube, get everything that's free that you can absorb, you know, and get that and ask the mentors, ask people. And guess what? If you come across somebody that's hard-headed or don't want to feel like sharing, because we do sometimes suffer from the crab in the barrel. Oh, we don't want to share. Oh no, I got to hold on to this because if I teach them, they can take my job. I never had that mentality. You're gonna take my job. I want to teach you because you can't take my job because I do not have a job. I have a career. And you can't take that. You know, so, and I want you to have one. And I want you to do the same. You know, everybody's not going to though. But don't let one person knock you down and, oh, they don't want to show me. Go someplace else.
Greg, check this out, man. Darren dropping so much knowledge, I'm afraid he's going to start charging us soon.
You can't take my job because I have a career. So
look, man, Darren, we coming up. Believe it or not, we have hit our hour.
Oh, nice. I didn't think I had enough stuff to say for an hour.
I feel like we was just getting warmed up, man. But we got to get up out of here. So before we go, though, man, I do want to give you an opportunity to tell everybody.
You got to see some of my award. I'm award.
Oh yeah, show me your awards. Show us your awards before we leave, man.
This one is for. I win so many every, you know. This one is for a video, the People's Choice Award, a video for Def 91 video that I edited and put together and did the graphics on, and that's for an app for deaf people to call 911. You know, that we came up with, that concept. These are all through the years. Got a gold W3 in advertising. These are all advertising awards, so they don't mean much. They're not Emmy or Oscars yet, but we're gonna get that too.
Yeah.
And if we don't, that's all right, as long as I got the biggest award, which is the appreciation of people viewing my art and viewing my creation and getting a good vibe and good stimulation from it. You know.
y'all, everybody listening to the podcast who are not here with us live, I think that this is one that you're gonna have to go find it on YouTube to kind of see. You got to watch this one. So if you listen to it, download it, and then go to YouTube and watch it so we get the count. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
But yeah, but tell them about your YouTube page and social media and stuff, and then we can roll up out of here.
Yeah, pretty much it's just the YouTube page to see stuff that we've done. It's not updated with the newer stuff that we haven't put out yet, that we're going to migrate to our own channel, rather our own website. But it's Barnstorming Productions. Just type in Barnstorming Productions and you will see a werewolf icon. That's us. Click it and enjoy. Enjoy.
All right, there you go. There you go, man. Darren, man, thank you so much for coming on the Working Artist Project.
One love, family.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Man, I appreciate all the things that you shared, because that was a lot of knowledge and experience and great advice.
No, I appreciate it, man. And I wish I was down there in Mardi Gras with you.
I'll go. I'll have a beer for you tomorrow.
I'm good.
Awesome. All right, y'all. My name is Darrian Douglas.
I'm Gregory Agid. Y'all have a